Memphis is not only for a large period of the last century, the distribution center of the United States of America, but it also was the distribution birthplace of music in the United States of America. You have people coming straight out of Mississippi and Arkansas. They come to that big city, Memphis, and trucks and boats through the Mississippi, and also later on planes will be flying out of Memphis, distributing it all throughout the country. There's no big secret why Holiday Inns started in Memphis, and also Federal Express started in Memphis, and they were distribution for hotels, and then and also FedEx is distribution for packaged goods for companies. So it's smack dab in the middle of the United States of America, geographically between the North and the South, East and the West, and it's been Memphis has been that center point for a reason. That's why the blues really seriously blasted off there. Sam Phillips sets up, a radio empire as well as a record empire with Sun Records back in 1940 something years old, and I mean years. So with Sam Phillips starting Sun and recording all those, blues artists that began soul. The first rock and roll record was recorded by Sam Phillips when he records Ike Turner. And Jackie Brenston had, Rocket 88, which talked about a car. And so when we know the history before it even got to Sam Phillips with Elvis and before it got to Stax in 1959 and 1960 with, Rufus Thomas, who was on Sun, working with Estelle Axton and then Jim Stewart, to start Stax, and then you had second coming of Stax, and you had, my musical godfather, Isaac Hayes, Sir Isaac Hayes. You had Sam and Dave, Dave Porter, all those acts that came to Stax. Miss Mavis, who came from Chicago with the Staple Singers. Can we go on and on? So one of my mentors is the great Albertus Isbell, also known as Mr. Al Bell from Memphis as well, Little Rock. So yeah, man, it goes deep. So before you even get up into the recording area of rap and 8 Ball, MJG, and people like that, I said I always wanted to lock in with somebody who was doing rap music from Memphis, Tennessee, but from a rap standpoint, but not necessarily everything always street, hustle. And we know 3 6 Mafia also come from there and their crew and all, and Gangsta Boo. But I think, may she rest in peace. But it was serious when I linked up with you. I felt that with Memphis Jelks, there's a certain honesty, and there's also a commitment to the great community city of Memphis that had always been real black and trying to make it happen. And also get the stain off of it, because our great leader was assassinated in Memphis, but not by black people. He came down. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. came to motivate Memphis even to greater heights, and they realized that combination was heavy. Memphis and Dr. Martin Luther King, and I remember very clearly. At that time, I was 8 years old, 7 going on 8. So it wasn't like I had to read about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to know about him. I used to hear Dr. King on the radio. I remember the day that he was killed, and at the same time the ramifications afterwards. So I always had heard about Memphis, whether it was culture, whether it was politics, whether it was just like locking in. And I didn't have any family there, but it felt like we were all family through Jet and Ebony magazine. So my first time going to Memphis, man, I felt it in my soul. I felt it in my roots that I needed to be there. And the first time I went to Memphis was 1987 on the Def Jam tour. Myself, Kool Moe Dee went around the radio stations, and I understood the magnitude of WDIA.
Yes.
The first radio station that played black music with black Nat D. Williams, who was Rufus Thomas's high school teacher, actually was the first DJ in the country, black DJ in the country, also playing black music for black people. And although it wasn't starting out as a black-owned station, it was a station that reached so many people. When they started putting black people on the music on there, they found out they had everybody coming to the table, white folks, everybody, and they said they couldn't stop it. And with that radio came the music.
Wow.
So with all this knowledge inside, it's like you don't keep knowledge for yourself. You let it out and you let people know that they oh, in Memphis, y'all on hallowed ground. So to be able to
Yeah.
do your podcast, to be able to do your music, do your culture, do your videos and stuff, you're on hallowed creative cultural ground. And I'm proud to be part of it.
Squad up, haters down, haters down. If you ain't about that life, don't come around, don't come around. Got the crowd, gone wild, gone wild. Tell me what you know about that Mem style, that Mem style.